Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hyperion Cup Checkpoint. I'm Oakley today, joined in the booth with Xenon and Listery. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great. Can't wait to get into these games and get into the next week of Hyperion Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. These games this last week were a lot of fun to watch, and there's some competitiveness that was really shown, and it was a great week, I think, for most teams.
Absolutely. So we will be recapping Split 2 week 1 and then looking ahead to week 2 of Split 2. So let's go hop right on in with our first game, which was Frost Surge versus Grav 9. Frost Surge, they kind of came out a little flat footed on Nepal. They were kind of caught off guard by Grav 9, or Grav 9 showed up. Who really knows? But this first map was heavily in the favor of Grav 9. They looked really dominant, getting a 2-0 win, and then we go over to Junkertown, and this is kind of where Frost Surge kind of got into their stride and ended up taking the following maps in a pretty convincing fashion. Both teams ended up opting running similar comps with like Ball Sig, Ball Diva for the most part on Junkertown, and the coordination and teamwork on display from Frost Surge was just a little bit better than Grav 9's, but there's still a little bit left in the regular season, and hopefully Grav 9 can stop their little bit of a slide. The past couple of weeks have been a little bit rough for them, but they're still in it, looking toward the top middle part of the standings. But Frost Surge, they are looking like they're in control for the rest of their split 2 in regular season. So it'll be interesting to see if they're able to go undefeated or if someone can actually conquer them and put an L into their loser column. So Grav 9, they'll be playing against Voltage on Monday, and Frost Surge, they'll be playing against Phoenix tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Our next match was Kaiju Core Clover falling 1-3 versus Phoenix. Xenon, do you want to take this one away?
Yeah, this was kind of a similar story where Phoenix kind of got caught off guard, maybe weren't quite warmed up, ready on Nepal, and then turned it around in the next three maps. Very similar story here, a little bit more even of a score line on Junkertown and Kings Row, but I don't know. I'm sensing a little bit of a pattern here with the first control map, and maybe winning it is just a bad luck charm. I don't know, but some great performances coming around all around. Dogfish getting massive amounts of damage done on King's Row. Yeah, Felix popping off on Nepal, and on Phoenix's side, you had Penn, Max 35, and CSPPP all just, you know, carrying their teams to victory, uh, having a great old time. Look, I'm really happy to see Phoenix performing well here. I admit I didn't really pay attention to them in the beginning of the season, but they are a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of an underdog, just from like a scheduling perspective on our end. Like we haven't been able to cast many of their games this season so far, and they have played some pretty strong opponents. Kaiju Core, they were uh, runners up last season in the Hyperion Invitational Cup, so taking out a powerhouse like them is always a good start to making your name in this tournament and going forward as well. Kaiju Core Clover, they play versus Frost Nova tonight at 8 p.m. And Phoenix, like I said a few minutes ago, will be playing against Frost Surge at 9 p.m.
And both of those games should be really good.
Absolutely. Our next game was another close one with Danger Close falling short 2-3 versus Paradise Aegis. This was on the Alpha channel last week. Um, so if anyone wants to go back and watch that VOD, it's over there, and it's also on our YouTube. But this one was just back and forth all over the shop. Nepal, Danger Close, once again, following Xenon's Law, I guess we'll call it now. Taking the first control map and then ultimately just falling short in the overall series. There were a lot of close maps back and forth, action all over the place. In Mbani, we did go to extra innings. We did get to see the self-proclaimed hit scan Genji one trick F150 busting out the Genji on Mbani and going absolutely huge with 41 elims and 60% kill participation. But ultimately, not danger close. Paradise Aegis was able to just clutch it out. They showed some weird stuff on Hanamura, maybe, and were able to just clutch it out in extra innings, getting the full cap and maybe a little bit of fatigue running in there for danger close. And then we got to Busan, and it's back and forth the entire way through until the last fight, where danger close just were probably on their last legs of fatigue, and fatigue just set in, and they were just a little uncoordinated in their last push, and were unfortunate to fall short. On
Yeah, I
Busan.
feel like
Especially for
Nambani is
such
a
a
very
close game.
it's a very draining map to play on, especially 5-4. That seems just brutal.
Yeah, especially because Paradise, they like to play their ball comps in danger close. They're playing their 6-man stuff all over the place. So people are just flying all over the place. You got flankers, you got a fire in the sky, a tracer over here, a ball over there. And then your 6-man trying to track all that. I'm sure it gets a little bit of fatigue going into the last little bits of that map. But this was another great game. So I definitely recommend going and hunting this one down if you're needing something to watch. Because this could be a potential playoff match in the future here. Danger Close, they'll be playing against Tempest Typhoon tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. And Paradise Aegis has a bye week this week, but they'll be back in action next week versus Voltage. And before we get into our match of the week, we do have a recap video put together by Optic. So we're going to go ahead and let that one roll.
And deal in some deadly damage to Yikes. And that is exactly what I would be saying at this moment if I were Tempest Type. How this fight is going to go hack early on to Book, but the Nano Boost has already been committed and the barrage is unleashed. EMP as well catches out T-Nade from Boone. Gonna be rewarded with a little bit of advantage here for Frost Nova. The res is gonna come in. That's gonna make it even more that way. EMP lands as the kill is there. The res is going to be successful, but in the meantime, Zai pops Deadeye barrage as well. Thor looking for an opportunity. EMP here it comes to catch us out now and through the window as well.
I mean, they're definitely pouring themselves into this, but the question is, what do they do?
Whoa! A couple kills coming their way. D-Mech is out on a Panda Bear, and Frost Nova continuing to fight this up. Death block has the advantage here. They're going to be able to ride this to a victory, but Book has other ideas. There is Maywall going to come up to try and keep Yikes in a place they don't want to be shattered. A self-destruct committed, but Thor is there with the Coalescence. It denies the remech from Pan. That is very, very bad. Fortunately, there's still a little bit of time before the card's going to be in.
You are right. It's going to be very difficult not having that defense hold here.
Dude with a Nova's just rounded the corner with the cart. There's barely anyone left from Tempest Typhoon to contest the point. This is a huge miscalculation and misplay coming out from Tempest Typhoon. Side doing everything. Already got a pick on the Don Super. That is a huge boon for this Frost Nova squad. Self-destruct can be thrown in as well. The rest is successful. So is the bomb. We might actually be able to turn this back around and put this series to sleep. That's going to be Tempest Typhoon with the likeliest of wins at the last moment.
That was a wonderful recap done by Optic for the Frost Nova versus Tempest Typhoon game, which did end up going 2-3 towards Tempest Typhoon. This is one of the most back and forth games I think I've ever seen. We went into 6 maps here. Nepal, Frost Nova being the first to take a map, and Xenon, as you said, maybe it's a curse. You go 6 maps in, but you win the first map, and that's enough. Going on to Route 66, and you saw Tempest Typhoon being able to full hold and do really well here. Zai was able to pop off a bunch here, get some clutch kills, and then into Numbani, which again, very back and forth. Tempest Typhoon able to take that as well. Volskaya did end up being a draw, but we did see some fun plays there, like Yikes was able to get a massive shatter, basically knock down everybody. But moving on to our fifth map was Oasis, which Frost Nova then came back and was able to take this map. And finally, Junkertown. Junkertown was a good overview of the entire series. It was also very, very back and forth. And things were looking like Tempest Typhoon was going to win. They were going to be able to hold them pretty far. But at some point, Frost Nova was able to come in and do so much damage and kind of get a snowball rolling. But up until the very end, when it looked like Frost Nova was going to take the win, Tempest Typhoon was able to come back clutch and pull things together and get in the final win. So it was a very exciting series. This one was also streamed on our main channel. So if you get the chance, I would highly recommend going back to watch this because the recap just doesn't do it justice.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Over 2 hours of gameplay that you can watch on demand.
Yeah, and this might be the longest game of the tournament, and by the end, I can't necessarily rule out the fact that maybe both teams got a little bit tired. This is a game that the 2-3 doesn't really show how close it was. I feel like it was more like a 3 elimination difference on both sides, and like that would have flipped the scoreline completely. But Frost Nova really showed up in certain parts of this, and I was really rooting for them, and I think they clean up a few more things. They get back to where they were in the Invitational Cup in terms of strength.
Yeah, absolutely. This match did happen in the Invitational Cup, and it did go, I want to say, 3-2 to Frost Nova, if I remember correctly. So these two do have a little bit of a running rivalry going. Maybe we could throw Frost Surge into that group too, just because a lot of those players were around on Frost Nova in the Invitational Cup. But there were some really good plays all around. We did get to see Zai pop off on the Cassidy and Bonk Norm, Mr. Earlier Vincent, popping off on the Tracer, being able to combo with their Orisa. Big pull value. Shout out to Florida. He was able to set up his team for success on a lot of maps where they were able to play the Orisa stuff. But this was just a contrast of styles. Like every time you thought that it would go to like a brawl sort of map, Tempest was in control. But every time there was like a ball sort of set up or a dive map, it kind of went in the favor of Frost Nova and Tempest Typhoon. They were just barely able to clutch it out in the end, but that just shows the strength of the tournament. The 0-4 team taking on a 3-1 team and taking them all the way past the distance to map 6. It shows that there's a lot of really, really strong teams in our tournament.
Yeah, it's very much been a pleasure watching all these teams go at it, and can't wait for the end.
Yep.
Can't wait for the postseason to come around.
For sure. Frost Nova, they will be taking on Kaiju Clover tonight at 8 p.m. And then Tempest Typhoon, they will be taking on Danger Close at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And going on over to the standings, we do have a bunch of shakeups all over the shop. So we do have Frost Surge taking over the number 1 spot for the time being. Danger Close, Phoenix, Paradise Aegis, and Tempest Typhoon are all tied at 3-1, only separated by map differential. Grab 9 sitting in 6th at 2-2. And then rounding out the bottom, we have Voltage picking up a free buy win. Kaiju Clover 1-3, and then Frost Nova at 0-4. And there's still plenty of time for these teams down in the 5th through 9 area to maybe make a dent in someone's playoffs hopes in the top 4. Where if they win, and they might make the middle of the pack here a little bit more close, because right now it looks like there's about 5 teams in the running for that top spot. But as we've seen this week, any team really is capable of beating anyone.
Absolutely. And we do have the Frost Nova game coming up at 8 p.m. tonight, I believe on our main channel. So if you're able, go root for Kaiju and Frost Nova. It'd be interesting to see if there's any upsets, how both teams do. But either way, I think it's going to be a good game.
Absolutely. And moving on, we do have another announcement, shout out, whatever you want to call it. That Hyperion Cup Legends voting. I know it says Hyperion Invitational Cup. Sorry about that. But Hyperion Legends voting is now live. It started yesterday at 12 Eastern, and it will run through until March 17th. So basically a month from now. And there will be a not playoff game, a show match between all the Legends players, and you will be able to vote for up to 4 tank, damage, support, and flex players, as well as 2 coaches. I'm not entirely sure what the coaches would do. Maybe we'll get some meta coaching analysis or something from them, or we could have them draft teams or something. But for the time being, those are out there. Go vote for your fellow competitors. Show them some love. The only rule that's not on here, but it's everywhere else, is that you can't vote for yourself/teammates. Vote for other people in the tournament that you thought popped off, looked good, looked bad. Like the same.
Yeah, I mean, you find somebody that
Yes.
you hated to play against, maybe vote for them. As long
Yeah.
as it was for competitive reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they just had a cool name and you wanted to vote for him. Who really knows? But go show some love to other people in the community, because we're all here supporting each other, and make sure that, you know, your talents are recognized from people in the community. Moving on, we do have the schedule for tonight, and we do have the bottom 3 games going on tonight, with Kaiju Core Clover and Frost Nova kicking us off at 8 p.m. And then Danger Close, Tempest Typhoon, and Phoenix Frost Surge will be at 9 p.m. Eastern. If we are able to conclude the first game, we will try to stream one of the other 2 that are going on tonight. No promises. Hopefully it ends up happening. Because the more Overwatch that we get to watch on the weekend, the better.
Especially if it's these teams in the Hyperion Cup.
Especially if it's on a Horizon Lunar Colony.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Waiting.
haven't seen that come up yet.
Yeah.
Community voted map, by the way.
Yep. Maybe we'll add Paris if it's community map 2. Probably not, but I don't know. It depends on how likely it is that everyone hits the check marks. But there are some really good games going on tonight. Danger Close and Tempest Typhoon, they're both 3-1. Phoenix taking on the newly top of the table Frost Surge, should be another good game to look out for as well. And also Voltage Grav 9, who really knows? You know, Voltage, they've been on a little bit of a slump. Not Voltage, Grav 9's been on a little bit of a slump. Voltage, who knows? Maybe they can come back and pull out an upset, and then everyone's just going crazy about the middle of the table, going into playoffs. But that'll do it for us here on the desk at Hyperion Checkpoint. I've been Oakley, joined in the booth by Alyssa Rue and Xenon, and I hope you all have a great rest of your night, and hopefully we'll see you back here shortly for Kaiju Core versus Frost Nova. See you later.
Have a great night.